if I told you there was a way to remember everything you learned without cramming all night? A way to make information stick in your brain, not just for the next test, but for life. We've all been there. You spend hours reading and rereading your notes. You highlight every other sentence. But a week later, it feels like your brain is a sieve. All that hard work just gone. You cram for an exam, pass it, and then promptly forget everything. It feels like a total waste of effort. But what if the problem isn't your brain? What if the problem is your method? In Japan, the approach to learning isn't just about brute force. It's a philosophy, a system built on working smarter, not harder. And today, I'm going to break down that exact system for you. This isn't just one magic trick. It's a powerful combination of a disciplined philosophy, scientifically backed memory techniques, and a daily routine you can start using tonight to build a truly remarkable memory. Part 1. The core philosophy, the why. Before we even touch a flashcard, we need to talk about the foundation. Because without the right mindset, the best techniques in the world are like trying to build a skyscraper on sand. There are 3 core philosophies that are the bedrock of this entire system. First, Kaizen. This translates to continuous improvement, but it's so much more than that. The Western approach to big goals is often to sprint, burn out, and give up. We say, I'm going to study for 8 hours today, and by day 3, we're exhausted. Kaizen is the opposite. It's the philosophy of the 1% rule. The goal isn't to master a chapter in a day. The goal is to be just 1% better than you were yesterday. Read 1 more page, understand 1 more paragraph, master 1 difficult equation. It seems small, almost insignificant, but a 1% improvement every day means you are 37 times better in a year. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts tiny, but with consistent daily progress, it builds an unstoppable momentum. This approach defeats procrastination because the first step is so laughably small, you have no excuse not to take it. Next, we have Shoshin, which means beginner's mind. This might be the most powerful mindset shift you ever make. As we learn more, our ego often gets in the way. We think, oh, I already know this, and we tune out. Or we think, this is too hard for me, and we shut down. Shoshin is the practice of approaching every single study session as if it's the very first time, with a sense of wonder, of humility, and of pure curiosity. You let go of what you think you know and open yourself up to what you can learn. A beginner isn't afraid to ask stupid questions. A beginner is excited by a new challenge, not intimidated by it. Adopting this mindset removes the pressure and transforms studying from a chore you have to do into a puzzle you get to solve. And finally, a principle that turns failure on its head. Embrace your mistakes. Many of us are terrified of getting things wrong. But in this system, a mistake isn't a failure. It's a bright, flashing signpost pointing directly at what you need to learn next. This is where the mistake notebook comes in. It's a dedicated journal for your errors. When you get a question wrong on a practice test, you don't just circle it and move on, you perform a full autopsy. 1. You write down the question you got wrong. 2. You analyze why you got it wrong. Was it a simple calculation error? Did you misunderstand the core concept? Did you forget a key formula? Be specific. And then, you write out the correct answer in detail, explaining the logic step by step. This process feels slow, but it's incredibly efficient. You are turning a fleeting moment of frustration into a permanent, deeply encoded lesson. You are actively rewiring the faulty pathway in your brain and replacing it with the correct one. Part 2. The memory techniques, the how-to. Okay, with our mindset aligned, it's time to build your toolkit. These are the powerful, scientifically backed techniques that will move information from your short-term memory into the permanent vault of your long-term memory. First, the undisputed champion of memory techniques, spaced repetition. Here's a secret your brain never told you. When you learn something new, your brain immediately starts a countdown timer to delete that information. It's called the forgetting curve. Spaced repetition is how you constantly reset that timer. Instead of cramming a topic for 5 hours in one night, you strategically review it at specific increasing intervals. Each time you recall the information, you tell your brain, hey, this is actually important, hold on to it. A classic schedule that works wonders is you learn something new, you review it 24 hours later, you review it again 3 days later, then 1 week later, and finally 1 month later. By the time you've done that final review, that piece of information is practically tattooed onto your neurons. Apps like Anki or Quizlet can automate this whole process, acting like a personal tutor who knows exactly when you need to review what. Next is the technique that separates the pros from the amateurs, active recall. Passive review, rereading notes, watching a lecture again, looking at a highlighted textbook, is the junk food of studying. It feels good, it feels easy, but it provides almost zero nutritional value for your memory. It creates an illusion of competence. Active recall is the mental equivalent of lifting a heavy weight. It's the process of actively retrieving information from your memory. It's difficult, and it should be. That struggle is what builds the neural muscle. Here are 3 powerful ways to practice it. 1. The summary method. After reading a chapter, close the book and write down or say out loud a summary of everything you can remember. Then check to see what you missed. 2. Question yourself. Use flashcards, but use them correctly. Look at the prompt and force your brain to produce the answer before you flip the card. 3. The Feynman technique, the ultimate test. Try to explain the concept aloud to someone who knows nothing about it, or even to an empty chair. If you have to use complex jargon or you get stuck, you've just found the gaps in your understanding. To systematize all of this, you can use the brilliant 3-box method. This is a simple, physical way to implement both spaced repetition and active recall. Box 1 is for your new, difficult flashcards. You practice the cards in this box every single day. When you can successfully recall a card from Box 1 without hesitation, it graduates to Box 2. You'll review the cards in this box every 3 days. When you've mastered a card from Box 2, it moves to the final stage. This is for material you know inside and out. You'll review these just once a week or once a month to keep them fresh. This system is genius because it automatically forces you to spend the most time and energy on the information you struggle with the most while not wasting time on things you already know. And finally, a technique that might feel a little strange at first, but is neurologically powerful, Kakegoe, or rhythmic chanting. This involves repeating information, like a list of vocabulary, historical dates, or scientific formulas, out loud in a rhythmic, almost song-like way. I know what you're thinking, it sounds silly. But here's why it works. It's multisensory learning. When you just read something, you're only using your visual cortex. But when you chant it, you're engaging your visual cortex, seeing it, your auditory cortex, hearing it, and your motor cortex, speaking it. You're creating multiple pathways in your brain that all lead to the same piece of information. It's like building 3 different roads to the same destination, making it far, far easier to get there when you need to. Part 3. The daily memory-enhancing routine. So, you have the philosophy and the techniques. How do you weave them into your daily life? You create a routine. You build a system around your energy levels and your brain's natural rhythms. Morning routine. Your brain-optimizing day begins the second you wake up. Before you reach for your phone, your first task is to get 10 to 15 minutes of direct sunlight. This isn't some mystical wellness advice, it's hard science. Sunlight exposure in the morning triggers the optimal release of cortisol, a hormone that acts as your body's natural wake-up call, promoting alertness and focus. It sets your circadian rhythm for the entire day. Next, before you start learning anything new, dedicate 15 minutes to revisiting yesterday's material. This isn't just a review, it's a warm-up for your brain's memory circuits. This act of retrieval strengthens the neural pathways you formed the day before, making them more stable and permanent. Daytime habits. During your study blocks, you must take useful rests. Most people take breaks by scrolling through social media. This is the worst thing you can do. It floods your brain with new, high dopamine stimuli and doesn't allow it to consolidate what you just learned. A useful rest is a true break. Use the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of intense focus, followed by a 5-minute break where you stand up, stretch, get some water, or simply stare out a window. This downtime is when your brain's hippocampus works in the background to organize and make sense of the new information. Think of your brain like a high-performance engine. You need to give it the right fuel. A light meal with a steady carbohydrate index like grilled chicken, quinoa, and vegetables provides a slow, steady release of glucose, your brain's primary energy source. A heavy, sugary, or processed lunch causes a massive energy spike followed by a productivity-killing crash. Throughout your day, pepper in moments of mindfulness. This doesn't mean you have to meditate for an hour, just take 1 minute between tasks to close your eyes and focus on your breath. Mindfulness is a workout for your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus. The more you train it, the better you'll be at directing your attention and absorbing information when it counts. Evening routine. The last hour of your day is absolutely critical for memory. Just before you go to sleep, perform a 10-minute recall. Put everything away. No notes, no screens. Simply sit or lie down and mentally walk through the most important ideas you learned that day. What were the key concepts? What was the most challenging part? This act is like handing your brain a prioritized to-do list, telling it, this is what I want you to work on consolidating while I sleep. And finally, the non-negotiable rule is protect your sleep. For at least an hour before bed, declare a no-screen zone. The blue light emitted from your phone, tablet, and computer directly inhibits the production of melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. Sleep is not a luxury. It is the most important part of the memory-making process. It's when your brain cleans out metabolic waste and transfers important memories from your short-term hippocampus to your long-term cortex for permanent storage. Sabotaging your sleep is sabotaging your memory.
So let's recap. The Japanese student's routine isn't a magic trick. It's a holistic system. It's a mindset of continuous improvement and humble curiosity. It's a powerful toolkit of spaced repetition and active recall to consciously build strong memories. And it's a daily routine that honors your biology to create the perfect environment for learning and retention. The information is now yours, but remember what we said about active versus passive. Just watching this video was the passive part. The real change happens when you take action. Knowledge isn't power, applied knowledge is power. So here is your first active recall challenge. What is the one technique or habit from this video that you will implement in the next 24 hours? Will you start a mistake notebook? Will you try the 10-minute recall tonight? Will you get sunlight first thing tomorrow morning? Go down to the comments right now and tell me your commitment. Writing it down makes it real. Now go build that incredible memory.